With crossovers and SUVs starting to outpace sedans as the most popular models on the road, we've seen a long list of really great ones debut over the past year.
So we've brought together a trio of 3 outstanding models from different market segments, all set to battle for the AutoGuide.com Utility Vehicle of the Year award.
We'd like to give honorable mention to a few vehicles, starting with our long-term tester this year, the Mazda CX-5. Of course, this year also saw the launch of a new Toyota RAV4. But representing compact crossovers is the winner of our compact crossover shootout this year, the 2014 Subaru Forester.
Honorable mention in the luxury category goes to the Range Rover Sport, a great vehicle in its own right, but at over $60,000, it's outside the reach of most consumers. So we brought a more affordable all-new luxury entry, the Acura MDX.
And finally, representing the true utility side, you can always count on America. So we've brought out the not all new, but significantly redesigned 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So let's get behind the wheels of each of these utility vehicles to see which one deserves our top honors and your hard-earned money.
For a while now, Subaru has been sticking to a winning formula when it comes to their Forester crossover. Create a box, attach a terrific all-wheel drive system, and offer the choice of naturally aspirated and turbocharged 4-cylinder engines. That turbocharged Forester, called the XT, used to set this crossover apart from the crowd, but now it seems every other manufacturer is following Subaru's lead and making a turbocharged crossover of their own. But with the 2014 restyle of the Forester, it's actually the base engine that's something special. Using the same 2.5-liter engine that makes 170 horsepower as the old unit, this year it's attached to a revised CVT that delivers terrific fuel economy in a vehicle this size. On paper, this drivetrain may sound really boring, but Subaru has done a good job tuning it, and the initial pickup when you hit the accelerator is actually quite good, and the engine never really runs out of steam until at highway speeds. The CVT itself is an incredibly smooth unit, and it will actually constantly change the RPM range to avoid the dreaded drone that comes with a lot of these transmissions. Being that the Forester is a big boxy shape, leads to terrific sightlines, especially with this very low beltline. Upper trim models come with a giant sunroof that just adds more of an airy feel to the overall cabin. Despite coming in at just over $30,000, our Forester came with high-tech features like adaptive cruise control, a Harman Kardon stereo, and HID headlights. But it's not all good news in here. Some of the materials seem too down market even for a $30,000 vehicle, and the radio and the heated seat buttons look like afterthoughts that were added at the last second. But even with those shortcomings, we still selected the Subaru Forester as the winner of our compact crossover comparison. But in the end, what set it as a finalist in Utility Vehicle of the Year is just how easy to drive this vehicle is and how practical it is. Oh, and did I mention it gets great fuel efficiency?
Easily the only true SUV of the bunch, the Grand Cherokee offers real utility and true off-road cred. I mean, this thing has 11.3 inches of ground clearance. You also get all-wheel drive as standard with 3 different versions to choose from, with the top 2 offering the Select Terrain dial to best match this SUV to its environment. In fact, perhaps more so than even utility, the Grand Cherokee offers choice. Under the hood, you have a choice of 4 different engines. You can get a 5.7-liter Hemi V8, or you can get the very new Eco diesel motor, which promises 30 miles per gallon. And of course, there's the ludicrously powerful 6.4-liter, 470 horsepower SRT model. Then, of course, there is the much more reasonable but very good 3.6-liter V6, which is what I'm driving right now. All models come equipped with a new 8-speed automatic transmission that helps improve both acceleration and fuel economy. And it's not perfect though. You can actually tell in stop and go traffic that when you get on and off the throttle, you can kind of hear this loud clunk coming through the drivetrain. The most truck-like vehicle here in its utility, unfortunately, it's also the most truck-like when it comes to its drive characteristics. And it really just isn't as sharp to maneuver around a corner, and it feels, sort of wobbly on its suspension like, you expect a truck to. The only one of our Utility Vehicle of the Year finalists that's not all new, the Grand Cherokee, is a revised model, and it does have a long list of updates, including a refreshed exterior that I'd say actually makes this the best looking vehicle of the group. There's also an improved interior with a new 8.4-inch touchscreen featuring Chrysler's ridiculously easy to use Uconnect system. And there's another screen in this cabin as well. It's a 7-inch unit and it's located right in the gauges. It looks really high tech, but unfortunately not all of the gauges are digital, so the other ones that aren't just look that much more dated now. While it's important to remember that this isn't a head-to-head comparison, I do have to say that the Jeep's interior is probably actually nicer than what there is in the MDX. Although, again, to be fair, it's because this Jeep costs just about as much as that Acura. In terms of everyday utility, well, the Grand Cherokee does have 36 cubic feet of trunk space, although I have to say that the rear seats aren't quite as big as I'd like them to be. I do fit back there, but it's not exactly spacious.
The MDX has always been a bit of a luxurious minivan, and we don't mean that in a bad way. For those looking to upgrade from their Odysseys and Siennas, this is the next logical choice. It offers nearly the same level of practicality while offering more sport, more luxury, and more style. Best of all, the MDX doesn't feature an out-of-this-world price. But for 2014, Acura has taken things a step further. They have stripped 275 pounds out of this vehicle compared to last year's model, which means they can downgrade the engine from the old 3.7-liter V6 to a new 3.5-liter V6. It still makes 290 horsepower, but really improves fuel economy. All-wheel drive vehicles are now officially rated at 18 miles per gallon in the city and 27 miles per gallon on the highway. That's an incredible 6 mile per gallon improvement on the highway. But for those of you living in warmer, drier climates, for the first time ever, Acura is offering a front-wheel drive only model of the MDX that bumps city mileage up to 20 miles per gallon. This added weight reduction also helps handling. Now, the MDX has always been a great handling crossover, and for 2014 it's even better. Inside, the MDX is still a great place to be, featuring all the latest technologies like adaptive cruise control, lane keep, and 2 different rear entertainment systems. Not everything is good in here though. We don't like the all-black interior, and as much as we like the actual wood trim pattern, its execution in this model doesn't seem to fit. And for those who don't really care about loading up their MDX, you can get these fairly cheap. But when you do start adding packages, they aren't that expensive, but if you select them all, it does get a bit pricey. People always ask us what one of the best all-around vehicles is, encompassing every aspect of automotive design. The MDX is always one of our answers.
From a long list, we narrowed it down to these 3, and then one stood out above the rest.
Offering more everyday utility and surprising fuel economy, this vehicle is just more well-rounded than the others. And if this doesn't give it away, it also delivers surprisingly affordable luxury.
The winner of the 2014 AutoGuide.com Utility Vehicle of the Year is the Acura MDX.